Hello everybody, welcome back to Movies with Malice. As I said last time, we're going to talk this week about more of my Valentine's Day, February romance choices. And this time, it's The Matrix and The Fifth Element. And I know everybody had to have seen these. These are both amazing movies. There's too much to say about both. We're going to start with The Fifth Element. Okay, Fifth Element, Bruce Willis, Mila Jovovich, one of the most beautiful women to ever live in history, is in this movie. And, I mean, first of all, this movie, the way it starts off, I want to say is kind of like, like with the aliens coming through the pyramid kind of shit, that's happening in this movie. That's kind of how I believe, I kind of believe that's some real shit, real talk right there. Not the aliens that they have, but I kind of think there's some alien pyramid shit. And that's another reason why I like this, and the whole Fifth Element idea that the fifth element is love, and that's what, creates the world or whatever. I mean, that does, in theory also make sense because, when two people get together and make a baby, not that that's the only way to love someone is to make a baby, because I'm definitely not doing that. Anyway, but that's definitely how to procreate the species for now. But yeah, I just, once again, this movie's cast, so many amazing actors in here, so much awesome acting and special effects and costuming. I'm a big fan of visual art, and the way that they did the aliens and the the singer lady. She's one of my favorite characters ever in a movie. You can't see, I don't know if it's going to focus on that, but that chick and that song, I actually still listen to that song all the time. I've danced to it at work a bunch. I think it's awesome. But Gary Oldman again. Gary Oldman in this movie is almost unrecognizable. His character has a weird side mohawk thing, and he plays a villain in this movie. And then so Lilu is who Mila Jovovich is in this movie. She kind of just ends up with Bruce Willis, and they're trying to they know that she's powerful, and they're trying to get her to help them fight this bad guy that's all the bad guys that are led by Gary Oldman, because they're trying to take, there's all these stones that they need to make this machine to stop the meteor. So they all have to go on this cruise ship, and then they all get there, and that's where you find Chris Tucker. And Chris Tucker plays this super androgynous character that's singing, producing this big huge event there. And that's where so the singer chick, she has one of those stones inside of her. And so they find out that she's carrying it or whatever, so they have to get it from her. And that turns, when they get to this big party, the bad guys show up, and then Mila Jovovich has this dope ass fight scene. She has to fight them from the hotel room, because they're trying to steal one of the other stones that the other people have. And then Bruce Willis ends up in this big shootout in the boat, or the ship that they're on, trying to get all these things together. In the end, they put all the elements together, and they're well, how does this machine work? It's not doing anything, and this meteor is coming, and we're all gonna die. And he tells Mila Jovovich that he loves her, and then the light comes, and they blow up the thing, and it's yeah, that kind of a love story where it's it's magical kind of love. And I like that, because it's kind of, it's kind of cute. It's endearing, and it's all they both fought to save the world together. And at first she didn't think why is this planet worth saving? And I'm same, right? And then he's because I love you. And they have their moment. And yeah, I think this movie is so visually stunning, and the acting's so good. Once again, soundtrack amazing. Lots of other characters in this movie that you see in all sorts of other movies, but I think this movie had to be fun to be in. I don't know, or maybe not, because like being in a lot of makeup is kind of a lot sometimes, but I would have loved to be in this movie. I would love to live on this set. Anyway, now The Matrix. Oh, The Matrix. I mean, I'm sure everybody's seen The Matrix, and The Matrix is like so essential 90s movies. I mean, I do want to talk about a lot of 80s movies, but when it comes to like these kind of romance, like whatever movies, they're all in the 90s. Because if I look through my 80s like romance kind of movies, and most of them were pretty basic romance kind of stuff, but in the 90s they got adventurous with it, like with The Matrix, because you wouldn't think this is like a romance movie, but like, or this, you wouldn't, that's not like what these are advertised as. They're not under the romance setting, but this is what they really are, because I mean, in the end, that's what they're really all about. Neo, played by Keanu Reeves, is like supposed to be this hero. He doesn't know it. He has to get kind of trained to fight, but like Lawrence Fishburne plays the guy that's like training him and like teaching him, like I forgot to even mention the most important part. Like, he's originally like a pod, like asleep in this pod, and he's just part of the cog that is run like this artificial intelligence that's just living off of human imagination, and just whatever, like they're computer generated people that are like using humans to like their humans are their electricity ish, and he gets awakened, and that's he has to learn where he was and what was happening, and he has to like fight to like not, well, there's a whole fight for a bunch of freed humans to escape those artificial computer like machine people, and so they go in between worlds, like sometimes he's fighting in the real world that the human world that he lives in, sometimes he's fighting in the machine world, and like Lawrence Fishburne teaches him that he can dodge bullets and walk on walls, and there's like martial arts in this movie that's super cool. I think this is like one of the first movies that they use those like techniques where it's like super slow motion, and he's like like laying back and like bullets are flying, and I think like visually those, when I first saw this movie I was like, that is amazing. These movies are awesome. But through all this stuff that's happening, he starts to like develop an interest in one of the other humans they're all like on this ship that's like floating around, evading all the technological, like they have all these little sperm machines that come and attack their ship, and they all have like little eyes, and they are trying to find these humans that are like a resistance, that are kind of like a Terminator type thing where they're like hiding out. But I feel like they really built this set a lot better than, I mean, I love Terminator movies too, but like they really got sci-fi with this, like the artificial world plus the underground world, like, and then if you watch like all the Matrixes after that, they got even better and better. For years I didn't watch the third Matrix movie. Like I kind of was like, it's probably the same kind of storyline as before, and I rewatched that again recently, and I shouldn't have put it off for so long, because it's also amazing. That movie freaking stressed me out. This one stresses you out too, but it's like that good stress where you just like, you want them to survive and you want them to win, and he's like, they're fighting this resistance, this revolution, and you want them to win that, and then throughout that whole story the two are falling in love, and in the end that's the thing that's supposed to also stop these machines, is like their love, and it's also the thing that keeps Neo fighting, because otherwise what would he like, what would be driving him to fight is kind of what I get from the movie. But yeah, they really did awesome with like visual stuff in this movie, and the fight scenes and the styling. I'm always one of those people that I really like to see people look cool in a movie, and I don't know, like there's not another, like the way that they looked in this movie, there's no other movie that looks as cool as they did in this. And the bad guy, Mr. Smith or whatever, like he is so good at playing a bad guy, and just like his lines in the movie, just talking about, and part of me like agrees with him in some respect, like just humanity is a parasite and they're a germ, and like humans disgust him, and I'm like, well, yeah, I've seen that too, like, so I get why, kind of the machines would want to like eliminate humans, like, definitely not on their side though, but I love those kind of like love stories that are really like, more like they're fighting like a huge cause kind of thing, but plus they like, love each other. And so I just think the Fifth Element and the Matrix are like a really good double feature to go together for that. Or you could just watch all the Matrix movies and just watch this by itself. I don't know, but you should also watch all of the Matrix movies too. Yeah, and I don't know. If you guys agree with me, let me know. If you think there's anything else that you would partner these with. Honestly, when I was thinking about, the sci-fi based romance movies, I also thought the 12 Monkeys is one that I really like too, with Bruce Willis, another Bruce Willis movie. If you haven't seen that, I highly suggest that too. I'm going to talk about that another day, because there's a long list of movies that I like to watch to fall asleep to, and I'm going to do a whole series about that. So stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm going to have more soon. Let me know what you want to see next. I know a lot of people are waiting for some horror ones, but I definitely am trying to bring some guests on for the horror movies that I have, because I have a lot of friends that are super into horror, and I know they want to talk about it with me. So I'm going to start lining those up soon. And just stay tuned, like, subscribe, leave comments, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye!